How's everybody? That's all right, everybody can hear me, right? Well, hi, thanks for coming. I'm Alton, and wow, you're just a kid. Do you have that kind of cash? No. Thanks for coming out. Hopefully most of you have a copy of Good Eats 3 in your hot little hands. Maybe. If you do, don't lift it, it's heavy, I know. I just want to say quickly about the book that it's the best of the three. It's definitely the best we could do. It's every single application in it, a recipe if you like, has been completely rewritten from the bottom up. So completely retooled, remastered, because we wanted to fix any mistakes, and we really believe that writing a recipe for a book is very different from writing one for a TV show. So if you've cooked Good Eats food from any of those episodes, throw away the recipes and use these, because they're better. And I think that we've reached 100% success rate. So if you have a problem with one of those recipes, it's you. It's not me. It's all you. I can see most everybody from here. I wanted to spend, before we jumped into Sunday, I wanted to spend a couple of minutes answering questions. If anybody had a question about the show, which, as you know, is recently deceased. I crossed the 13-year line and decided I'm okay with that. Oh, okay. Hi. Hi, how are you? Give you an introduction. Well, that's okay. I don't need it. If they need to be reintroduced, then we've got problems. Right, is that a little bit better? Can you hear me a little bit better there in the back? So somebody just take questions and have a conversation. There, in the back. That's exactly the way to do that. Go ahead and holler out, sir. Hey. Hi. Hi. Hey. Question. I didn't hear you. Oh. So you raised your hand as though you had a question, but you don't. Warming you up. You're warming me up. I'm already plenty warm. Thanks very much.
Are you a motorcycle tour?
Am I going to do another motorcycle tour? I will do another motorcycle tour, but there won't be a show about it. I think that Food Network's pretty sure they got that whole travel thing wrapped up with Guy Fieri. So they're just, yeah, I kind of feel the same way, but
we like you better.
My hair and gain 50 pounds.
How long did it take you to plan each show? It was such a...
How long did it take me to plan which show? Each episode?
Yes.
Well, basically, during the 13-year run of Good Eats, we never stopped writing. The research was always going, I was always writing. How long it actually took to write a script is really difficult to say because it never stopped. But then once we went into production, each show took about 3.5 days to shoot. And then we edited very, very quickly, and generally had them out by the end of the week. But it was a never-ending process, really. Writing could take anywhere from, I mean, I would average to say that I would spend a solid week on each script, at least a week or 2 weeks before that researching. But it was never all shoved together into one time slot. That only happened once the shooting began. Yeah, anyone else? Question? Yes, sir.
Any chance of rebirth of Good Eats or something like that?
Any chance that would rebirth Good Eats?
Yeah.
Well, I just put it out into the pasture, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see how frisky it still is. I do have some other projects in mind that I think that fans will like just as much. But I know better than to ever say never. Maybe it's just resting. Okay. Maybe I'm just resting. We'll see. So I would never say never. If enough people wrote in and demanded, or if someone took some hostages, like in a bookstore, then yes, I would certainly, for the sake of humanity, take that into consideration. Well, we'll have to see. We'll see what happens. Does this young one have a question, or just need to go to the bathroom? Hi. You make espresso? That's funny, I drink espresso. Do you make good espresso?
We do.
Yeah?
We watch your Good Eats on espresso.
Yeah? And he makes the espresso?
He helps grind the beans.
Oh, barista, you don't have nearly enough facial piercings to work on. But that's cool, that's cool. How about you? Question? What was my favorite episode to shoot? That would come down to probably a tie between two. There were 2 Good Eats episodes that always flew to the top for me. One was a show about sustainable seafood that I did that took place in the future, and I played myself as a really old man, kind of all these wrinkles and everything, and my daughter played my granddaughter. And that was really cool because we had like invent a futuristic grocery store, and I got to be this old guy, and she got to be like this. She had this like white Japanese wig. It was pretty cool. So that one, and then we also did a show about meat pies. That this is going to be tough for you because you're probably not going to get this reference. But it was a takeoff on a musical called Sweeney Todd, which I'm pretty sure is the only time on Food Network anyone has blatantly goofed cannibalism. So, that's when people eat people. Probably wasn't a good thing to talk about. Yes, sir.
What are your plans for the future?
What are my plans for the future? Well, tomorrow's Houston, then Dallas, then I've got about 10 different projects in front of me that I'm trying to sort out right now. Several upcoming projects for Food Network, some new, maybe some enhanced ebooks that I might get into, other book projects, and a couple of documentary projects. So I gotta get off the bus for a minute to kind of figure out which ones come first. But I haven't gotten off of it yet. Things keep, as soon as I say I've got a little time to sort it out, something else happens. And so I gotta bide my time. Yes, ma'am?
What's your favorite show to host on Food Network?
What's my favorite show to host on Food Network? Well, definitely Good Eats. I mean, Good Eats is my precious little snowflake factory. Each and every one was, you know, fussed over. I mean, Iron Chef is a lot of fun. And Next Iron Chef can be fun, and Feasting on Asphalt was fun, but Good Eats, that's me. If anybody was going to say, what's your story, I would say, watch Good Eats. That's the way it is. Yes, sir?
Did you get any good food while you were here in New Orleans?
Good food. I was here in New Orleans. Yes, I binged over at Couchon for a while today. So we sampled about 20 dishes. So I've eaten like 4 pigs. 4 pigs, their skin and the ground they walked on. I did get fed, and I've had a few Sazeracs since I've been here as well too. So. Yes, ma'am.
I know you have a couple of gluten-free recipes.
I do have some gluten-free recipes. You know, I'm waiting to see how that whole gluten-free thing works out. You know, it seems to be a growing segment of society. I don't actually believe that half of those people are truly gluten intolerant, but they want to be. So, you know, gluten is one of those things that I think that, I hate to say it's a fad. I think some people really are, thank you, intolerant. I think other people are just kind of gluten curious, and so they're messing around with it a little bit. But I'm intrigued anytime somebody says get rid of something. You know, can we figure out a way to get at something out of a recipe? I'm always intrigued by it. So maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see. Yes, sir.
What's your take on the food truck revolution coming around?
I like food trucks. You walk around, there's a truck, you walk up, you get some food. It's a great idea. We finally have them really springing up in Atlanta where I live. It was, they had to go through a lot of, you know, kind of legal things to get that going. I think it can revitalize cities practically overnight. I love them. I'm a huge fan. Especially in cities where you have to drive great distances. I mean, New Orleans, you're so saturated with great food, you don't need trucks. In places like Los Angeles, where it's an hour and a half to get anywhere, they need food trucks. Where I live, we need food trucks. But you'll be successful here just because this is, you know, there are 2 food meccas, well, 3 food meccas in America, New York, New Orleans, and Las Vegas. And I think that no one's better primed to profit from the truck experience than you guys are. Anyone else? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
When are you going to be in an Iron Chef competition?
When am I actually going to compete on Iron Chef? Never. No way, no how, because I don't want anyone to get a shot at my job. I have worked very hard to cultivate an aura of making that look like it's a really tough job. And somebody else just steps in there and realizes how easy it is, I'm screwed. I don't want that to happen, so never is the answer to that. No way. Yes, sir. Just think one up now that we're all listening. What's my favorite food? Coffee. Espresso. I don't have a favorite food. Honestly, there's so many great foods. I mean, I could talk for an hour about nothing but cheese, you know, or coleslaw, or baked beans. I'm an omnivore. You can tell by looking at it. Yes, sir?
When you have a cold, what do you want to eat?
When I have a cold, what do I want to eat? I make a really good hot toddy. So I'm getting out some scotch and some tea or bourbon, tea, some lemon juice, a little bit of agave, and yeah, and basically, I drink myself out. You know, they have that whole feed a cold starter fever. I say drink it out. The tough ones drink it out. That's the way I do it. Anyone else? Anybody back over that way? Question or comment? Oh, you thought something up, sir. Since your last debacle.
You cover sock puppet yet?
Do I have a sock puppet?
You cover them?
What?
Any way you can work sock puppets into Iron Chef?
Sure, I can get some sock puppets in Iron Chef. Yeah. Maybe I can get Morimoto to give up a sock. I make a little smelly puppet out of it. Yes, sir, all the way in the back.
You and Roman seem to have this great thing you've been doing for the last 10 years, like just getting rid of recipes. Like if you learn the ratios, if you learn, you know, your show's about like, this is like the muffin method, this is the biscuit method. Like, if you know that like recipes become irrelevant, so why are you putting yourself out of a job?
Well, it's not. He was mentioning the fact that both myself and Michael Ruhlman, if any of you are fans of the fine food writer Michael Ruhlman, that we're very into what I call open code cooking, which is that we don't like to make recipes look like currency. We don't like to make it look like if you don't know a recipe or have a recipe, you can't make something. I'm very big on showing off, getting people to learn methods. You know, the truth is once you know how to braise, once you know how to saute, once you know the muffin method or the straight dough method, you can decode a lot of your cooking. Michael Ruhlman is very into the understanding of ratios, and I believe, you know, completely with him on that. I don't think that works us out of a job. I think that what that does is allow us to work with each other, meaning me and you as cooks, on a different level of a different language. It's just that we're going to be trading code at a higher level. You know, I would like to see people kind of do away with what I call mystery recipe writing, where you don't realize, oh, that's a braise. You know, if you go ahead and if we can understand with each other what these methods are, then we can move on to a far better level of cooking. But mostly magazines don't want you to have that, because food magazines have been selling you the same 20 recipes over and over for the last 30 years, basically. I mean, there's only about 20, 25 basic tenets of cooking. Now, when you get into baking, of course, it's a lot more complicated because you're dealing with balanced formulas and equations. And I think that there will always be recipes for that. But if you understand what's going on, if you understand, as Michael Ruhlman points out, the ratio, then you're going to be less likely to fall prey to a bad recipe. It's not that you won't use them anymore, but you'll understand what's going on with them. And it's you know, it's not like a mechanic doesn't need anybody to build a car. It's just a mechanic, by understanding how a car runs, can fix it, modify it, make it his own. I might like to sell you a recipe that then is so perfectly tuned out that you can turn it into 10 different things. Well, that doesn't make me obsolete by any stretch of the imagination. Besides, I've got male modeling to fall back on. Good question, though. Michael and I have talked about that, about whether or not we were doing a stupid thing or not, but we both think it's the right thing to do. Anyone else? Another question? Happy to do this? Oh, yes, sir. Chef.
What's one piece of advice you'd give to a young chef starting out?
What advice do I give to a young chef starting out? Good shoes. Yeah. Good shoes, low expectations, and don't drink. Yeah. And don't get married. Don't borrow money. Then you'll probably be okay, because divorce, alcoholism, and suicide are very high in your profession. Oh, and don't wear your chef whites out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good shoes, that's the one I'll stick with. Anyone else? Any other questions anywhere? Anybody want to talk about anything?
What happened to all the props?
What happened to all the props from Good Eats? They're in a big room. And we're talking about auctioning some of those off for charity. But I just, as soon as I can convert my daughter's college fund into a charity. I actually had somebody offer me $25,000 for the chicken. For the chicken, and I did not take it. I'm holding out for 30. 30 grand gets you that big paper mache chicken. Yes, ma'am.
What advice do you give to a person considering culinary arts as a career change?
Hold on. I jerked my cable out. You're thinking about a culinary, a move from your current career to culinary arts?
Yes.
Why would you do that? What do you do now?
I'm an emergency medicine physician.
You're in emergency medicine? You're a physician?
Yes.
You're a doctor?
Yes.
I'll trade you. Why would somebody who's a doctor want to go into culinary?
Diversification.
Do it as a hobby.
Or, you know, maybe part-time.
Part-time for fun.
Or maybe,
slumming.
Some,
because I gotta tell you, the easiest way, people come to me and they say, oh, I want to be a chef, I love cooking. And I always say, well, the best way to fall out of love with cooking is to become a chef. Because the second it's business, it's not nearly as much fun as you thought it was. I mean, that's, yeah, stay a doctor, cater on the weekends.
maybe a small business.
Small business on the side, keyword, on the side. You spent a lot of time in medical school, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't want to toss that. Because that's not going to help you. That's not like getting an architecture degree and then going into pastry. You can do that. People will buy it. Emergency room physician? Okay, that just means you don't have to worry about the Heimlich maneuver in your restaurant. You'll have that. Yeah, be very cautious. Dabble. I suggest a long dabble period. Yes, sir?
What do you find more relaxing now? Flying or riding a motorcycle?
What do I find more relaxing, flying or riding a motorcycle? Flying. There's nothing relaxing about being on a motorcycle. You're invisible and everybody wants to kill you. I mean, it's fun. It's a lot of fun, but it's not relaxing. Do you do both?
I fly.
You fly? Flying, no one's really trying to kill you when you're flying. I mean, God is trying to kill you because of the whole gravity thing. But, you know, other than that, I say flying. My heart rate stays lower flying than it does motorcycling by a long shot. Yeah, I have addictions. Those are a couple. Anyone else? Yes, way in the back. Yes, sir.
Do you have a favorite New Orleans restaurant?
Do I have a favorite New Orleans restaurant? The next one somebody offers to take me to. There's no bad food here. I mean, there's no bad food, there's no bad drink. If I lived here, I'd have to go around on one of those little hover-rounds. And they'd have to grease up my sides to get in the door.
Well, here's ours, and you're welcome to see it.
Oh, look, see, I'm already getting it right. Is this a coupon for something free? Or, no? It's just, okay. You missed out on that whole someone else paying for it part. All right, any more questions before we sign stuff? Sorry? Oh, yes.
About a year or two ago, you had done the episode and you'd lost a lot of weight.
I did. I lost 50 pounds, yeah.
Do you find as a person that is passionate about food, that's hard to stick to over the years?
Yes. Losing weight, easy. Keeping weight off, hard. I have a love-hate relationship with food. I love it and hate what it does to my butt. And so I go through periods, I choose my binges carefully. And I go through days where I eat extremely Spartan for long periods of time so that I can have moments of bingery. Most usually when I'm here in New Orleans. I literally saved up for a week to be here less than 24 hours by eating yesterday I had oatmeal and a can of sardines. That was yesterday, you know, so, because, I mean, I can absorb calories directly through the air. Just look at a Snickers bar and gain those calories. It's amazing. And, you know, I work out all the stinking time, which I hate, by the way. It's not fun.
Well, one follow-up question. Falcons or Saints?
Falcons or Saints? Saints. I'm sorry, I gotta put substance and style over whatever the hell the Falcons have. Just because I live in Atlanta doesn't mean I root for Atlanta. All right, anybody else? We got time for a couple more. If anybody's got any burning issues, ripping. Yes, ma'am.
Where did you study?
Where did I
Study?
Where did I study?
Yeah.
Well, I have my college degree came from the University of Georgia. They tell me I studied for that. And my culinary degree came from New England Culinary Institute in Montpelier, Vermont, where it snows from like Halloween to Mother's Day. So you study because you can't bear to go outside because you breathe in and you die. It's horrible. Anyone else? Going? Go. What? Oh, hi.
Why do you like kosher salt so much?
Why do I like kosher salt so much? Because it rocks. Because I like that it's big flakes and you can pinch them and put them right where you want them, and they taste good and they crunch good, and they don't have any other stuff in it. They're just salt. I like that. Got it? Good. Well, listen, thanks for coming, everybody. Just a couple things I want to say before we sign. I don't know how many of you read my Fanifesto online. Anybody read the Fanifesto? Yes. Well, then you'll know that I'll sign just about anything
No hamsters.
What?
No hamsters.
No, well, I will sign small animals, but only if they're dead. I will not sign your ferret or your hamster or your little bunny rabbit in its live state. So if you brought one, you're gonna have to snap its wee little neck before you get up with it. Because I got bitten one time and I didn't like it and I don't want to do it again. I won't sign body parts, but I will sign casts. So if you want to step outside and break something, I'll sign spoons, mixers, knives, just about anything that's not living. And of course, I like signing books as long as I wrote them. I also want to say that I'm not going to go anywhere until everybody's had their stuff signed. I don't mind doing pictures. All I ask is that if we're going to use a camera phone, please know how to use it. And if you hand over a camera that has a full memory card, oh my, are we going to rip you over the coals for that one? But that's where we get our fun, and we've got to get it someplace. So thanks a lot for coming. The only other thing is I really do like families with kids to come up first because it's going to be bedtime soon. And besides, they start screaming and really make a ruckus. So families with young kids, or if you can borrow a young child off the street, come on up. Let's get those done and out of the way. You see this lady right here with a baby? She brought that specifically so she could get to the front of the line. And that's a good strategy. It's going to work. So thanks again for coming, and we'll get signing, and I'll meet you all shortly. Thanks.
Okay.